Smite and Combo have completely changed the game in Rise of Kingdoms, and we're gonna talk about them. We're gonna unlock the secrets to Smite and Combo. We're gonna talk about the formations of Pincer and Delta and how they have changed the game with these commanders. We're gonna give you all the secrets. We're going to tell you what marches buff Smite and Combo, and we're going to tell you what marches debuff the target to make your Smite and your Combo commanders even better. So stick around as we go through it all right here. Hey everybody, I'm your boy War Daddy Chatsky. I put out videos all the time. Do streams all the time. We are having so much fun in the game, building this community. If you like any of the videos, if you enjoy them, throw a like, throw a thumbs up on them. Help us out. It really helps out the channel. If you're not subscribed, consider doing so. It doesn't cost you anything. It really helps out the channel. We are pushing through our subscribers and we are going to the moon, baby. But I wanted to put this video out, and we wanted to talk about this a little bit. This is unlocking the secrets of Smite and Combo. Okay, we now have commanders that are combo commanders in the game. We now have commanders that are Smite commanders. Now we have older commanders that were skill damage commanders that are now being converted into Smite and Combo commanders. So let's talk about this, okay? Because one thing is the common denominator with all of Smite and Combo damage. These are damage factors coming on your active skill, okay? There are three different types of damages. There's skill damage that's been in the game for years and years. There's Smite damage, which just got released about a year and a half ago with Luce and Gorgo. And then there's combo damage, which has now been released in the game with Arthur as a primary commander. So there's three basic different types of damage you do on your active skill, and it has been insanely good that they've given us some diversity. But the one thing that is constant, people have to understand this, is that Smite and Combo damage is affected by normal damage increases or bonuses or boosts, okay? And it distinctly tells you normal damage increases or affects your Smite damage and Combo damage, but not skill damage. So that is what we have to look for today. That's what we have to understand. You got to understand that there are now some different variables of older commanders and commanders that can do things to buff you, that can debuff the target. And we're going to talk about that a little bit. One of my best watched videos I ever did, one of my first videos I ever did, was talking about the importance of Takeda and how the burn effect does crazy work for putting that infliction on the target. So let's talk about this. The commanders that we have for Smite and Combo, on the infantry side of things, we now have BQ, the newest commander in the game for the field. He is insane. He is absolutely broken when it comes to the damage factor he does and how he really hammers this. And so from that standpoint, it is really cool to see how they've incorporated the Smite. We had William Wallace on the last generation of infantry to be released for the field. He's a single target damage, but he does some area of effect and reactive damage. These are all Smite damages. Okay, again, Smite damages are affected by bonuses to normal damage. Okay, and along with him, of course, Luce was the OG and still is. He's insane. He's incredible with what he does. So a lot of damage factor can be done. You've got the Rally here with CPO Milianus. This is Smite damage. Okay, you've got the Garrison. Where's my Gorgo at? Smite damage. That's what we've talked about. She also does more normal damage, really cool effect to do that. And then at the same time, they recently converted CJ to a Smite commander instead of a skill damage commander. So now we have multiple commanders running for Smite. And this is what people have to understand. And what makes this work when it comes to Smite is this formation right here. This is the Pincer formation. It was just released recently. And the special inscriptions on the Pincer formation are off the charts. Number one, it gives you a flat 10% increase to Smite damage. That's what the formation does by itself. You don't even have to have any armaments. That's what it does. And then you come over here, you get a 10% boost on our emblem slot. That's what the emblem's for. It gives you a boost to whatever damage that formation is accustomed to, okay? And then you come up here to the scroll. Toppler is amazing. This is what makes this thing go. It gives you a 5% boost, and then it also applies this triggered effect that can be hit for multiple targets, and it basically allows you to take 20% increased Smite damage for the next 3 seconds. seconds. Then it comes to Demolisher. This is the same kind of effect as Toppler, except this thing cuts through the defense of the enemy and it lets you do extra damage. And then if you only hit one target, it gives you 100 rage. We don't like the cooldown on this, but it's really, really powerful. And then Airtight, this is the worst of the Pincer formation special inscriptions. It is basically a Subutai rally counter, okay? Because you're gonna take 5% less combo damage, and that's gonna be a resistance, which is very powerful. But in the field, it's not a big deal because you only really have one combo commander in the field. Whenever the troop deals smite damage, their troop takes 10% less damage for 3 seconds. That's really good, okay? So that's just a damage mitigation factor that goes into that with the combo mitigation. So overall though, when you put all this together, it is out of control. And then when you get into the rare inscriptions for Pincer, these are basically the special inscriptions light. They are a dumbed down version of the special inscriptions, but you have stuff like Raider that's incredible. 2% boost to smite damage, not the 5% boost, but this is 2% boost, and then you get a 50% chance to gain rage 20% faster for the next 3 seconds. That's awesome. That's one of the best rare inscriptions in the game. So you have some rare inscription situations to where you can put these on, and I think this does 4% boost to smite damage dealt. So you can put the rares on and make it really, really bona fide. And you can do that if you're going to run multiple smite marches. I'm going to run multiple smite marches. I'm going to run BQ with CJ and then William Wallace with Luce. I mean, so there's all kinds of ways you can do this and run this, and it's really, really good. And so Smite has overtaken the infantry, right? And Pincer has really enhanced it because this is hands down the strongest formation in the game. It's brand new and it's strong. Now we expect more formations to come out for skill damage and for combo damage, because we currently have Wedge for skill damage, Delta for combo, but they're going to come out with new formations, and it's probably going to power creep to reach the levels of Pincer. Okay, so that's what you have with Smite. You're going to enhance all Smite damage with normal damage. Okay, well, there's some things that you can do there to really understand it. Now let's go over here to the combo damage. Now combo's behind. Okay, so we have not had anyone but one commander actually do combo in the field, and that's Arthur, and you have to run him as a primary. Otherwise, he's a skill damage commander as a secondary. Okay, so his combo is great. It is absolutely great. To put the Delta with him is wonderful. These are great special inscriptions, and Delta's really, really good, especially this one inscription here that is on the butterfly. Okay, this is 3.5% boost to combo damage dealt, but this is where it really kicks in. This is why combo works so well. It gives you instant proc chances. That's for tier 5 equipment. That's for skills of other commanders. Anytime you run a combo attack, you're 20% more likely to trigger effects triggered by launching a basic attack. So a lot of those, hey, you have a 10% chance to do 1,500 skill damage from William the Conqueror. This makes it 20% more likely. It is really, really good. That 10% goes to 30%. And so from that standpoint, that's what makes this really, really good in the field. The only problem with combo commanders is that we don't have very many of them. Now, they've recently just changed Bert over, and I got to work on my Bert. Not many people have Bert. He was an MGE commander. He was a rally commander, and now they put him and refined his skills for combo. So we only have 2 combo commanders for the field, and that's why it's kind of slow going for them. However, same thing with Smite. Combo is affected by what? Normal damage bonus. Okay, so let's think about that a little bit and let's understand exactly how this thing works, because we can put some fun things together to try to figure it out. And so when you look at that, you're trying to say, hey, I just want increases to combo damage or increases to normal damage, okay? Well, Attila's great. That's why Attila Subutai works so well, is because he does a normal damage bonus for 4 seconds. And so whoever's behind him, whether it's a Smite commander or a combo commander, they're going to do a ton more damage. And that's why Attila has lasted so long in the game and continues to be very viable. I'm going to run Attila. I'm going to run Attila in an Imperium KVK, and I'm going to put different commanders behind him. And I run them with Philip. It's a pure damage march. And so there's all kinds of different ways to look at this. But if we're trying to figure this out, let's talk about some commanders that really, really help the overall effects of Smite and Combo. I know you guys think I'm crazy. This is Takeda. Old commander. Now he's available in K2. He's got museum buffs that are good, that give you a lot of different things. But overall, he puts a burn effect on the target. Okay. And it is a really cool, let me figure it out over here. Let's see. This commander's troops deal 30% more normal damage to burned enemies. So this is actually an effect from the burned enemies. You inflict burn on a target for 4 seconds. Whenever a burned troop is hit with a basic attack, there is a 50% chance that it will take 50% more normal damage. Let's look at that. Oh, it enhances Smite and Combo. There it is. So Takeda, if you're looking for an enhancer in the field or a debuff on the target, let's say you have Smite commanders and Smite marches, and you have Arthur, and you're running Arthur Bertrand as a combo march. You're running all these marches that now benefit from normal damage debuffs. That's what this is, to make the enemy take 50% more normal damage for 1 second. Okay, there's only a two second cooldown on this. This will fire off a lot, and all your marches benefit from it. It is massive. It works really, really well. And so Takeda all of a sudden now starts to come into play just for the debuff effect on the target. That's what makes it really, really good. Sometimes when we're double rallying a pass, we'll put a big Smite March on the pass. We'll put like a Scipio Emilianus with William Wallace on the pass. Well, then the double rally, the tank rally, we'll put Attila Takeda, because Takeda is putting the burn effects on the garrison. Meanwhile, Scipio Emilianus and William Wallace are hammering it with Smite. And this will trigger a lot to where you're doing a lot more damage on the target. So that is a debuff. That is a really cool debuff that Takeda does. Okay, there's another commander that we can talk about that I have not liked. She is awful. She is not a good commander in the field. I don't run her. I don't advise anybody to run her. I put heads into her, and it just is what it is. However, Shajar provides some utility. She does a lot of the healing stuff, especially when she's a secondary commander. She has multiple healing attributes on her skills. And so when that happens, this is what happens with her. Whenever this commander troops heal a troop, for the next 3 seconds, the healed troop gains 10% defense, and there it is. Deals 20% more normal damage. There is no cooldown on this. She heals all the time. All the time. So you can actually help enhance. Now, this is a buff for three of your marches, that it's going to do 20% more normal damage for 3 seconds. Well, you're just enhancing all your Smite commanders and all your combo commanders. That's what you're doing. So the game, you can see, is giving us different debuffs and buffs. It's giving us different types of damage with Smite and Combo, to where it's starting to peel away from skill damage. And that's what we're talking about here. You have to understand how Smite and Combo work. Okay, and so those are 2 commanders that right off the rip, you understand that Takeda does a debuff on the target, and then Shajar does a buff for multiple marches to give normal damage. That's a really interesting effect. And all of a sudden now, okay, if I'm running a bunch of Smite and a bunch of combos, I can run Shajar. Okay, let's talk about one more. Now we're going to talk about an enabler. Okay, we've talked about Philip as an enabler. That's what he does. Not only is he a buffing commander that buffs all the marches, but for your march specifically, you take 20% less reduction, because this is multiplied by 2, and then whoever he's with is going to deal 40% more damage. He's an enabler. That's what he does. Don't fall into the trap with Philip to just think he's a buffing commander. That's not what he is. Okay, he does buffing, but he's an enabler. And so with that being said, there are different types of commanders who are enablers. Well, let me show you something that's really, really interesting when it comes to enablers. I'm going to come down here, and we're going to look at, where is my guy? We're going to look at Pyrrhus, okay? Pyrrhus is a K2, K1 commander, okay? This guy, he does skill damage, which is kind of okay. I mean, it's nothing really crazy. This is a deals direct damage, that's skill damage to the target. But this is what he adds. For 3 seconds, the commander's troops deal 20% more normal damage. He's enabling a Smite commander behind him. That's what that means. And then you look at the rest of his kit and you're like, wait a minute, he has a 20% more normal damage bonus outside of Alliance territory? And immediately, and I already talked about this Pyrrhus with CJ combo that you can run in K2 is like one of the best marches you could run. He enhances the smite damage that CJ does. So this is early game stuff. However, you can use him in late game. There's all kinds of different things that he does when it comes to this to really enhance your normal damage. All right, you're going to get 20% outside of Alliance territory. That's when you're out field fighting. Plus anything behind him is going to give it an additional normal damage of 20%. The beauty with normal damage, and we know this, is that normal damage enhances smite and combo. However, it also enhances your counterattack. It makes you more prickly. Okay, it makes you more like a porcupine, if you will. If people are hitting you, you're going to kick back damage to them. So normal damage provides multiple enhancements. And so 40% more normal damage when you take this and then you combine it with this. So you're running 40% normal damage on a big smite commander behind you. Okay, well, Pyrrhus can be used too as an enabler. So you have 3 different types. Okay, you got you got the buffing march, which is like Shajar that we talked about. Okay, you have the and here's Shajar with her buffing normal damage to 3 marches of yours. Then you have the debuffer, which is Takeda. He debuffs the target to allow it to take more normal damage from all sources, from all the other marches. And then you also have your enabler, which we showed was Pyrrhus. Where is this guy? He's all the way down here. I gotta get this guy maxed. And that he enables the march that he's with. Okay, so everybody understands how that works. It's not just Smite, but it's Smite and Combo. And the more combo commanders we get for cavalry are going to make it more and more prevalent. You're going to see a commander, when you come through this and you're looking at what different commanders do and how they do it, you're going to see a commander like Herman with his stacks, that he does a poison that makes the target, it debuffs the target to take more skill damage. That becomes less and less relevant because you're not running near as many skill damage commanders in the field. People have to understand that. The more Smite and Combo that comes out, the less valuable Herman gets. I still think Herman's great, and he does a ton of damage and he does a ton of debuffing, but you have to understand that he gets less and less valuable when you have more and more Smite and Combo commanders. We fully expect that they're going to take cavalry commanders and they're going to convert maybe 1 or 2 more to Combo out of all these skill damage commanders that are out there. In addition to that, the new cavalry that comes out next fall is going to be a garrison combo, and it's going to be another combo in the field. So it's going to happen more and more with combo commanders. Okay, so if you're looking at this overall, and this is what I wanted to do, I was like, well, wait a minute. What if a player decided to go all in on Smite? All in. I'm going all in on Smite and Combo, and I'm basically doing everything I can to enhance normal damage, to do normal damage debuffs, and to enhance enabling normal damage on my marches. How do I run this? Can I run it? Like basically no skill damage commanders, and there's a way you can run it. And I'm going to show you right now. This is what I call basically the secret Psycho Smite and Combo murder ball. Okay, it is a Psycho Smite and Combo murder ball. That's what this thing is. So let's pull this thing up here real quick so we can take a look at it. Well, this is what people have to understand. Okay, I have this broken down over here on the left side. You can see Cav Delta, you can see Cav Burn, that's a debuff. You can see Archer buff, Smite 1, Smite 2, Smite 3, and Smite 4, okay? So if you're gonna run this, there is some viability to it. So let's just go ahead and put this up here. Cav Delta, okay? You're taking advantage of the Delta. We had talked about Bertrand being converted into a Cav, into a Delta or combo commander. Delta and combo is basically the same thing. Delta is the formation that does the combo. But if you look over here with Bert and you run this out with Bert, on my other account, I've got Bert Max. So I've already tested this out and gone kind of a little bit crazy with it, but he's doing combo damage. So the typical Arthur Phillip or Arthur William is doing skill damage. Phillip is enhancing and buffing. And so you actually want to put as much combo on the field as possible. That's the only way to do it. You run Arthur with Bertrand. You can run Subutai in the field, but he's god awful. He's just got none of these skills work because they are all rally skills. So you run Arthur with Bert in the field, and that's your first kind of setup when it comes to your Cav Delta. Okay, so that's all combo. Both those commanders are enhanced by normal damage. Okay, then you put the Cav Burn effect on. We talked about Attila Takeda. Okay, and Attila is just the best partner for Takeda. Attila doesn't have much utility other than the fact that he's just doing a bunch of white numbers, so he does damage, and Attila Takeda still trades amazing even today. Nobody wants to hit that thing because of the counterattack, but Takeda puts the burn effect on the target. Okay, so the burn effect on the target, this will be enhanced by, and all the other Smite marches will be enhanced by. And then from there, let's go ahead and put your Archer buffing march. Okay, this is a buffing march because it has Shajar. Okay, let me explain that just a little bit. when I put Zuge with Shajar, I want Shajar as a secondary commander in that facet. And the reason why is because she does more healing as a secondary commander, and that's all you care about. You're buffing your marches. You're just trying to do this normal damage buff on your marches as fast as possible, as much as possible. Well, I like Zuge, even though he's a skill damage commander, okay? This is the sneaky part of his kit, is that troops hit with his 5-target AoE deal 15% less damage. That is a very tanky mechanic. Okay, you want to make all your marches tankier, you go debuff the 5 marches that he is hitting, debuff them with 15% less damage for 3 seconds. That is great. So I'm okay to run a skill damage commander because I really like this debuff. Plus he's going to help Shajar trade much better. And so from that standpoint, you've got all the different direct damage factor and all the different skill damage bonuses and stuff, but he is by himself like the only skill damage commander in this Psycho setup. Okay, and so as we look at it, that's how we have it. So we've categorized this pretty good to where we have our Cav Delta that is going to do combo damage. We have our Attila Takeda that's going to put the burn effect. That's a debuff on the target. Then we have our Archer Buffing March that's going to, with Zuge, it's actually going to debuff all damage from the 5 targets he hits. And then with Shajar, she is going to buff normal damage. Okay, so let's roll out the Smite. And if I was going to run 3 marches, this is how I would run a Smite, okay? A 6-march lineup. I would put BQ with CJ. Great synergies there. CJ is really one of the unsung heroes. CJ in a two Smite infantry setup, if you're going to run 2 marches of Smite, CJ is better to use than Alex. I know it sounds weird with Luce and Alex being in the game for so long, but CJ is now the guy that you want to do that with because the Pincer formation really enhances the Smite damage. So BQ we talked about, he's already crazy good. Okay, then you go add CJ behind him. He does really good 3-target AoE. The damage factor is not very high, but he's also got some of these really cool effects. Number 1, you got some march speed, and then you got some attack. That's great. And this guy actually has a chance to reduce all these different damages, skill damage, smite damage, and combo damage. You have a 50% chance to reduce that damage by 50%. That is a massive, big damage reduction. Now the cooldown's 10 seconds. We don't like that, but it is a great mitigation for damage. If the commander troops game only infantry, you have 15% more normal damage. All right, you're just buffing your own march. It's enabling BQ and CJ. And whenever you launch a basic attack on a field troop, you have a 100% chance to cleanse. That's 1 debuff. Okay, that's a health debuff. That's a CPO prime health debuff that he puts on you, or that's one of the debuffs that your enemy will put on you. He'll cleanse that, and then if you have stacks of poison, he'll cleanse 1 stack of poison. Only a 3-second cooldown here, so it runs off pretty fast. Okay, so every 4 seconds you're cleansing, and that's what's really good about this guy. And then he's also got this setup with the expertise. If you're on the map, whatever skill, whenever you take skill damage, smite damage, or combo damage, 50% chance to reduce the damage by 50%, and then you're going to deal smite kickback up to 3 enemy targets, damage factor 500 with a little bit of nerfing here. And then the only problem is that's a 10-second cooldown, but at least you're kicking back more damage now. So that is a really good march to use that people have to understand. BQ and CJ, full on smite. Okay, let's go. And then from there, I'm going to run my smite number 2. That's Luce with Philip. It's great. Luce and Philip have great synergies. I've talked about it many times. Luce is wonderful. Part of the reason why is because Luce has this right here where he's going to help you do a combo attack. I know it's weird because Luce is a smite commander, but he does have this combo attack that has no cooldown, and you got a 25% chance. This allows you to proc more things. Well, when you look at Philip overall, do this thing here. When you look at Philip overall, he has this instant proc that is phenomenal. It is a 3-target instant proc of an 800 damage factor, and you reduce their rage. That's what makes LC and Philip work really well. Only a 3-second cooldown, so you're firing this off all the time. LC and Philip, whether you have infantry critted gear for Philip, you're critting it for leadership like I have, and it's kind of weird that I have it, but I do. You run Philip primary and Luce secondary, or if you have leadership gear, you run Philip primary with Luce secondary. Otherwise, just put Philip behind Luce and you're fine. You're fine. And so you're actually enabling that march, plus you're doing more smite with Luce. Okay, let's come to our next smite. And I'm going to put Gorgo Wallace in the field. How do you like them apples? Gorgo Wallace in the field is not ideal. Okay, Gorgo's a garrison commander. She's been good in the field for a while, and people still use her today, but it's not ideal with all the other commanders. But if you're going all in on Smite, let's just pretend we're going all in on Smite, okay? And here's our girl Gorgo. She does a big one target damage, okay? And she deals more normal damage with an extra 10% bonus to counterattack. That's great. She takes less skill damage. She has these normal damage bonuses that makes her an enabler. She's just helping whatever march she's with. And if you're doubling up on the Smite with Pincer, you can do serious damage with a Gorgo William Wallace. It's really not focused that much, okay? It's not very fast. You're going to try to put as much march speed as you can on it, but that gives you good single target damage on the march. Now, some people would say I like Wallace primary because he's got the Smite tree, but I always like Gorgo because her rage requirement is 900. She fires off much faster. And so I always put Gorgo primary in that situation with Wallace. I did it for a long time before some of these other commanders came out. But now that we're talking just Smite, that's what I would run. So all of a sudden now you have single target big damage that you're doing. And that's what this does. So that's a 6 target. So here's how this works out. You have 2 commanders for Smite. You got 3 with Luce. You got 4, 5 with BQ and CJ. Okay, then you have 6, 7. You have 7 commanders in a 6 March lineup that do combo or Smite, that are taking advantage of the burn effect of Takeda and taking advantage of the buffing effect of Shajar. It is all Smite all the time. You get 3 Pincer formations and you put them all on this and go to town. Now, if you really want to be a psychopath and you want to run 7 marches of all Smite, this is how you would run it. You'd pull these down. Okay, I know people are going to think I'm crazy here, but you'll put Philip with BQ. Okay, then you will run your Luce Alex. And then from there, you will run your Gorgo with William Wallace, and lastly, you're going to run your Pyrrhus with CJ. That's how you're going to set that up. And so on a 7 March situation, this gives you crazy amounts of Smite. That's how it works. And so from there, it is a psychopath situation. You are running so many Smite commanders. And we had talked about Pyrrhus being a normal damage enhancer, even though he's a skill damage commander. You're running CJ, Gorgo William, Luce Alex. So you're running all these buffing, debuffing marches with your Smite commanders. And then you're running the burn effect. You're running your combo commanders that take advantage of the burn effect. They take advantage of the normal damage boost and bonuses, and that's what makes this thing go. I know it's crazy, but understanding how combo and Smite works, that was the point of the video. If you have any comments, please put them down in below the video. I love to engage with your YouTube comments and understand. And also be sure to join the Discord. My Discord link is in the description. That's where a lot of these conversations come into play. And I want to make sure and put this out there. I thought we'd have a lot of fun with this, and with the importance of Smite and with the importance of our Pincer formations, we knew we were going to have a blast in putting this thing together. And so with that being said, hope everybody has a great day, and you guys enjoy the game. And don't forget, we'll do some more live streaming down the road.